Hey guys, I'm back with another Python video. Today we're going to be making two Python scripts. We're going to make a file maker and a folder maker. We're actually going to do the folder maker first because I think it will be much easier. If you remember in my previous video when we did the download sorter, we made that one function that created the folders for us if they already existed. We're just going to do the same thing again, just so you guys can get used to using the input OS function. So I've created this folder called subjects and it's empty. There's nothing in it, but we're going to use it for our main projects and that. This is just an example thing, folder that I made for pretty much students because I'm making this video for students, so then you guys would have an easier time just to make folders for your subjects and then make files for those subjects, and then it just saves a lot of time. So we're going to make these scripts, and the good thing about these scripts is, yes, it might be a bit long, but once you do the scripts, you don't have to do them again, and then it just saves you a lot of time. So we're going to do the folder maker first. So I'm just going to minimize this, and then we just right click and then open this with Visual Studio Code. Here it is. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make the folder maker, and it's really easy. So I'm just going to click down here, get rid of this. Okay, just need to wait for this to respond. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drink some water. Okay, get rid of that. We're going to call this folder maker.py. So now what we're going to do, we're going to first write our objectives, like what we're going to do. So we're going to ask the user to enter the amount of folders that they want. And then we're also going to make the user name each folder. So the user then names each folder. Okay. So those are objectives. So then what we're going to do, just going to leave a space here. We're going to import our OS module. And remember, our OS module allows us to manipulate our PC to create directories. Sorry for the lag, by the way. Don't know what's going on. Okay. So we're going to make a function called create. Excuse me. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to do a bit of error handling. What we're going to do is we're going to put our input. We're going to use import, but we're going to put our input in a while loop, so that we need our user to enter a number into our inputs. But if they add anything else, like a string or something like that, then we need to add error handling in case something like that happens. So then the program will run again until they get it right. So what we're going to do, we're going to do while true, and then there we're going to say try, and then in try we're going to say val is equal to, and it will say int, and then inside this int we'll put our input. And then in here we'll say how many files do, not files, folders do you want? And then we just add this colon here. And then if they add the value that we want, we're just gonna break the loop. Okay. Now underneath this try, we will write exception. So then we're just gonna say what happens if they don't meet that. So then we're just gonna say print, and I'm just gonna do backend. This is just for the next line, and then I'll say please type a number. This is just so if they give us something else, then it will loop back to our first value here. Okay. So now that we're done with that, we're going to do our for loop. So underneath here, so we'll say for x in range 1. Now, also in Python, we're using range. It's Python's equivalent of, like when we do a for loop, it's Python's equivalent of when we say, let me just do this grayed out, of like when we normally say for int I is equal to 0, and then I is less than, let's say, 10, I plus plus. It's basically the equivalent of that. That's our range. We just made it a bit, that's the thing I like about Python, is that it takes you to where you need to go. It just takes a bit less time. Sorry about that, I'm just drinking tea. So we'll say val +1, and then we add that colon, and then we'll add something else. So val, actually no, we'll call this fold name, import enter folder name, and let's add this. Oops, add it here. And then after that, we'll say if not os.pat.exist fold name, then we'll say os.make fold name. So remember, what we're saying here is, once we enter the folder name, if the folder name does not exist in our current path, then it creates that folder. But if it does, then it will ignore this whole function completely. So then down here, we'll just write dir create. Okay. Now that we've done that, let's run it. So remember, we say Python folder maker, so the name of the file we're running, .py. Okay, how many folders do we want? Let's just add a string like jdk. Please enter a number. Okay, so now we're going to say we'll make 4 subjects. So for folder name, we'll say prog for programming. And see, we ran into our first error right now. Oh, okay. Issue was my spelling. It's exist, not exist. Oops. That should fix it. So we're going to try that again. How many folders do we want? 4. Folder name, we'll say prog. So that's the first folder name. And then let's say HCIN. That's another subject I did. BUIS, business. And then our last one would be IPMA. Okay. So as you can see up here, here are 4 folders. And then if you go back to this subjects folder, Teddy already exists. Now I'm going to show you how you can do this by going here. But I'll do that once we've done with the FileMaker. So now that we've done that, let's go back to VS Code. Okay, now we've done this script. Let's make our FileMaker. So we'll say FileMaker.py. There you go. So what are our goals of this one? Well, we want this to create a document for our modules. But what kind of documents? The most common ones we'd normally use are like at school, and that would be Word, Excel, and PowerPoints. Okay. Another goal it should populate the file name with your student number and name. It should ask you what type of file is it, such as is it an ICE-task, POE, assignments, etc., etc. And the last thing is then it should, sorry, not if, it should ask for what file type you want. So e.g. DOCX for Word. I think it's PPTX for PowerPoints, if I remember that correctly. Just need to check my notes. Yeah, PPTX for PowerPoints or XLSX for Excel. Okay. So those are objectives. So then what we're going to do, I'm going to say def, and we'll say doc create and we're going to say print. It's just to make it look nicer. So print, we're just going to add a whole bunch of equal signs. Again, mind the lag. Okay, that's enough. Print FileMaker, and then we're just gonna copy this, put it down here. Okay, that's fine. So now, same as before, we'll say while true, try, and then we'll say val is equal to int, excuse me, int input, and then we'll ask how many files are you making. Okay. And then we just add one of these. We break that. You know, if they give us an integer, if the integer is what we want, then it breaks the loop. Then we say except, exception, print, and then we'll just say, and please type a number. Okay. And then over here, so for x in range brackets 1 val plus 1. For those who are interested, it's just a simple thing. When I said the plus 1 here, normally when you type your ranges and that, like most programming languages, they start from 0 as your first index. So, and then they go one increment for that. So if I say the range of, like, let's say I wanted to make 10 files. So then, how this would understand it would be, okay, you make 10 files, but we're going to count from 0 to 9. So it's just going to make me 9 files instead of the 10 I wanted. So what I'm saying is, when you add your value, what is just going to say, okay, I want this value in this range, and then add one more to it, you know. Unless you just want one file, then it's like, okay, we'll start from 0, 0 plus 1, and it's just 1, and it'll just make you one file. You know, it's just a little tidbit there. Okay, so now we're going to do your student details. So student det equals, we'll do a fake student number, so st 202 6634, sorry, 202 66345. Yeah, we'll just make that. We'll go with just a generic name, so John Smith, and we'll add another one of these. So we're just gonna copy this. So Control C, Control V, and then we'll ask for your module code. So module code is equal to input enter module code. One of these. Okay, what else? Print another one of these, and then we'll say type. So the type is equal to, we won't call this, okay, we won't call this type. Well, yeah, we'll just leave it as type, and then we'll call that one file type. So then we'll say import, and then we'll ask, is this a, and then what we're going to do, we're just going to do /n 1 bracket istask /n 2 POE, forgot the bracket, slash n3, so lowercase n3 bracket, and then assignments, then another one. What else do we have? We have take home, test, and then we also have take home exams. And then last one, we don't have a number for this, we'll just say type answer. Yeah. Okay. And then just another one of these, just to make it look nice. And then underneath this one, we'll add another print. So print, and then we'll say which file type would you like, and then backslash n0, and then we'll say word, and then slash n1 PowerPoint, and let me add a space for this, and then slash n2 Excel. Then underneath this, we go to this line here, and then we'll say while true, try, then val2 equals int input, enter the file type number. So what we're asking for here is that when it says which file type would you like, 0, 1, or 2, because remember when we're working with indexes, they tend to start from 0. We're basically going to ask the user, okay, it will automatically add the student number and name to the file we're going to create, but then it's going to ask us for a module code, so we'll just type in the module code for that, and then we have to type next what kind of file would it be. So if we say ICE-Task, we'd have to say, okay, ICE-Task 1 or ICE-Task 2, or this is just a POE or our assignment, or it's our take-home test, and then we just type in that answer. And yeah, and then we're just gonna break that. Same thing, except exception prints, and it will say again, please type a number. Then at the end of this, we'll say file type, and then we're just going to do a little array with our file types in it. So then in here we'll say .docx for a Word document, .pptx, that is for our PowerPoint, and then .xlsx, and then that is for our Excel spreadsheet. Then we're going to create another variable that's going to be a collection of all of these. So we'll call it my file, and then it will equal to student debt plus, we're going to add a space to it, a space here, so plus our module code, colon space, plus the type, plus file type, and then we'll also put our square brackets in here, and then we'll put val2. So then this here will just determine what kind of file type you want, unless it's out of range, and yeah, then this thing would break. But we only need 3 file types anyway. And then we'll say with, now this is when we start creating our file type. So we'll say with open. So now we're just going to open the thing, my file, and then comma, and then we write W. W just stands for write. We'll say as F, and then we'll say F dot write, and then we'll just add that. You can put something here, like if we wrote something in here and then like I said heading, and then I created a Word document, this would be on the first line of our Word document, but we're not going to use that. And then at the end here, we're gonna call it, so what did we call this? We call it .create. So .create, yeah, and that should be it. So now if you call it Python FileMaker .py, so how many files are we making? We're just going to make the one for an example. So 1 module code, let's say we did for HCIN, 6222, and then it was ICE task 1, and then we'll say 0 for Word, and there it is. Now the thing I wanted to show you was, okay, we're just going to minimize this. When we go to our folder here, see, here's our Word document, and then okay, let me just change it back. Let's see if it works. Here it opens. Ooh, yeah, so here's our empty Word document. Okay, just gonna close that. The thing I wanted to show you was that you can just copy the script and then call it from the folder you want to use it in, So how we do that is we're going to do the folder maker and then we're going to do the file maker somewhere else. So we're going to call the folder maker. So at the top here, you just click this and then you'd see your directory path. Just backspace and in this line type cmd and then press enter. And then as you can see, it opens a command line of your current folder. So then from here, we just type in our script. So Python, and then we're calling folder maker .py. How many folders do we want? We're just going to make 2 more. We'll say ACC for accounting, and then the next one will be Gia. And there you go. There are other folders. Now, if we take the space file maker, we're going to copy it, and then we're just going to put it in prog. Okay. So once you paste it in, here's our file maker. We just click up here again, backspace, cmd. And then here it is. And then we'll say Python file maker.py. How many files are we making? We're going to make 3. Module code prog 6212. Okay, this first one we'll say ice task 1, and then we'll make it a Word document. Now I think I've run into my first total here. It is supposed to ask us for each one what kind of Word document it is, and then loop back. It looks like the loop cut already, which means that we're just gonna get a mixed match of errors. So good thing we spotted that. So now we're just gonna go back here and then try to fix that whole loop. Back to our FileMaker script. The issue was my indentation was wrong. So basically, the while true loop and for loop would have been continuously running, but then it would have stopped here, ask for a module code, and then do all of this stuff, and then go back up to this while true and do the same thing. And then we'd only be able to create one file. Basically, we need to do one big while true and then have smaller while trues inside them, so like smaller nested loops. So my mistake was that I did one loop outside of this big loop. So we're just gonna highlight all of this, press tab, and then it should work properly. So then I'm just gonna go back to that original file, copy this, go back to that. Okay, override it. Okay, it's the same as before. CMD, enter. It's just a Python file maker.py. That's it. No such file. Here it is. Okay, so how many files we make? I'm going to make 3. Module code, prog 6212, and then this will be a POE. We'll make it a Word document. Now, here's our first Word doc. So now our next one will still be prog 6212. This is an assignment. And then we'll make it an Excel. So press 2. There it is. And then our last one, prog 6212. And then we'll make this same one, ICE task 2. No, we'll just make it an ICE task 1, yeah. And then we'll make it a PowerPoint. And yeah, there you go. So that's it. So all you need to do is just copy this to your other folders that you want to create ICE tasks in. And the only thing you really need to do is in your FileMaker script, like for each one of you, just change this line here, student debt. So just change it to your student number and then add your name and surname or whatever. And then yeah, and then it should auto-populate. And that's it. Those are the 2 scripts we made. So now for how long you're going to be studying, wherever you are, Varsity College or Bank or whatever school you're from, now you don't have to keep creating folders all the time for your subjects. Now you can just run your folder maker script from your command line, make as many folders as you want, you know, just quick and easy. And then you can take one of your FileMaker scripts, put them anywhere, and then now when you need to make like different ICE tasks, like multiple ICE tasks that you need to do, or different Excel spreadsheets and that, then you can do that using the FileMaker, and it would be much easier than doing this right clicking and then say you're picking a Word document and now you got to type your whole student number and everything like that. So it just saves a lot of time. And you know, that's another cool thing about Python. When it comes to automation, you do it once and then you don't have to do it again. So yeah, hope this video is helpful. I hope you guys make use of these scripts, you know. Hope you guys make your own. And if you make your own scripts, you know, I would like to check them out. I bet that'd be very cool to see, you know. So yeah, that's another Python vid. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.